Hi everyone, this is Nupur. Welcome to our podcast episode of Ignited Spirits Presents Leadership Series. Firstly, thank you so much for all your support that you have shown till now. We are really working hard towards bringing out content that could benefit and impact the youth watching this and get inspired. Now, coming to today's episode, I had this conversation with someone who is a corporate trainer, a career coach, and a psychologist. And through his work, he has almost impacted various organizations and individuals, organizations like corporates, through his training programs like PNG, Amazon, Bajaj, etc. And also have built businesses and teams in restaurant marketing, mental health, and training domains to almost more than 10K professionals and aspirants on leadership, communication, mental wellness, branding, sales, etc. So, without any further ado, bringing to you Vishal Goyal's journey of leadership. Let's begin. Hey Vishal, thank you so much for joining us in this podcast.
Thank you, Nupur. It's great to be here.
So, in today's episode, we will be talking about psychology and also some of the major career related questions with respect to that, along with knowing about your journey and experiences in this field. So, I'm really excited and eager to have this conversation on psychology because while I was researching on this topic, and when I had some conversation with my friends who are pursuing psychology as a career, I find a lot of burning questions related to career in psychology from them, as well as from my research. So, before jumping directly to those questions, let's start with sort of breaking the myths around the psychology. And so, if we talk about the myths, there are a lot of misconceptions and myths which is existing in the field of psychology as a whole in this country like India. So, could you tell us about some of the myths which is existing and you have faced in your career?
Yeah, so one thing is that psychology is a very fancy field, very interesting. You ask anyone, and they would say that psychology is interesting. So, this is a myth. This is a myth for me because if you ask what is interesting, they would not know what is interesting. And because they are living a general notation that psychology is this, and then it seems interesting to them. So for me personally, it is very important. So, if anyone is interested in psychology, break this myth that psychology is interesting. Yes, it is, but then every field is interesting. So the question should be now that if you find it interesting, what is that in psychology which you find interesting? And let's talk about that. Let's not just go with the labels that it is interesting, it is very good, it is very social in nature, the social impact and niceness. No, let's talk about psychology. What do you know about psychology? How it is impacted you? So I think first that I want to start with is this. Uh, you talk about psychology, but you talk about psychology in technical terms too.
So, whenever someone say like he or she is pursuing a degree in psychology, it's not very uncommon to be asked like, can you tell me what I'm thinking right now? Or is it quite funny? Like, it's quite funny how people sort of confuse psychology and or studying the behavior of mind and mind reading. Like these two are totally different, but they sort of think that they are same. So, what do you think on this? Like on this scenario?
Yes, so this does not trouble me much. This is definitely a myth in the sense that we have an understanding that we have a psychologist, if he or she should be able to read us. And that's what we do. It's fine. We as psychologists, we are there to read your or understand your behavior and how you think, how you behave. Why do you think in that way? Why do you behave in that way? But that doesn't mean you keep asking us, uh, do that. Because there is a lot also that goes in the background. There is a lot of effort that we have to do. And if you just ask me, if Nupur asks me, read my mind or tell me what I'm thinking or something like that, what my response would be, would be very superficial because the work that is needed to do it, I have not done it. Yeah. So we see in movies a lot of things related to hypnotherapy, hypnosis therapy, like and that even in the famous show Friends, we have this Alan guy who is reading all these main casts. Uh, it doesn't happen this in real life. We have our own understanding, our own frameworks to understand what the kind of the person you are. Like a physical doctor or an engineer would understand the things, but you cannot just expect them to do right on the moment. That's not how it works. It would be very fascinating to do that, but I'm sorry to spoil it for you. It takes time. It takes careful observation and other things. Yeah,
As you mentioned about like the movie scenario, that brings me to the next question, which is about the portrayal of psychology through the entertainment medium, and it's sort of untrue, which we see around how psychologists are portrayed through movies. So many students decide to pursue psychology being influenced by these movies and media culture that sort of portrays what psychology is, and how the therapist sort of get paid in thousands for listening to people and giving suggestions, which is not that much like
yeah,
not a true scenario. Whereas psychology, if you pursue academically, it's much different than that. So this entire scenario, so what do you think should be the prerequisites for the students they should keep in mind, like before pursuing this career and while pursuing this career?
sure, Nupur. And I would like to extend this question to non-psychology students
Yeah,
who are
sure.
on the receiving side too. So if you are an aspirant and if you are interested in psychology, mind this that it's not going to be easy in the sense because I see a lot of Instagram posts how the only thing that humans hate is humans. No? So we are in this world where we psychologically feel crowded with people. If there are people around it, we feel crowded. So much is our numbers. But if you are into psychology, there has to be an inherent interest in the social and psychological world, which means that you have to be interested in the human society, its sociological structure, its social dynamics, how it functions, what are the cultures, what are the individual thinking styles, and all of that. So if you come up to me, if you see me as a psychologist, and if you are interested to know why I am here, what I do, and a lot of other things, then you might be the right guy for psychology. But if you are just coming here, read my mind, then I think it's better, you are better off without psychology. Also, you mentioned that, people see a lot of things on movies, and we have this recent show, Family Men too, which again uh, put the psychology things and psychotherapy in a different sense. But if any of you, because see, try to understand this is very personal to each one of us. If you are going for therapy, if you are going to psychologist, counselor, anyone, do not expect that in one session or in 1 hour you will have your life changed. You have spent so many uh, years um, to to be like this. So if you want to be someone in the future, for that change to happen, you have to spend some time. And this is coming because we are living in the times when everything is fast. If you are a food blogger, if you are a cook, you need to cook fast. No, I don't need my food fast. I need to spend at least 1 or 2 hours to make my food. I'm sure that if you spend your time, it will be good. If you make it in 2 minutes, it's not going to be good. You're going to miss a lot of things. So if you are, because it is coming out from a genuine concern from my side, if you are going, because I see a lot of young people also uh, who are very spontaneous and who want things very quickly. If you're going for therapy, it is about you. Let let us give you time also so that you can work on different things and you can bring out the desired change. Yeah.
So true. That's a really valid point that you mentioned. Really, truly agree with that. Now, another, again, a major issue that I sort of observed in, while researching, and you already mentioned about it, like the social media platforms, which portray the portrayal of psychology in this social media platforms. So many posts
Mhm.
across the social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, or any of them, they tend to add this phrase that says psychology says before any kind of general feeling or sort of general emotions to make
Mhm.
people go like, oh, that's so relatable, psychology says. So doesn't that add sort of to the misconceptions in people's mind, or is it normal? What do you think of this?
No, I'm 100% against it. Even if psychology says something, you don't have to label it. Psychology says this. Why do you have to label it? If you have to forward an opinion, a suggestion, or something, just put it like that. If the opinion has some weight, if it is meaningful to anyone, they will receive the meaning of it. Why do you have to label it? Psychology says it. Because somewhere you know that psychology does not say it. So you just want to label it. Um, it's for everyone. You need to understand that psychology is not this. Psychology is a study. It's not the end results that you see out there. Uh, Psychology is a study in the sense that it keeps researching, building, improving, and looks at things in a very open perspective. This is a scientific field. Now, it would be like to say that physics says Earth is flat, physics say Earth is round, and like that. It is not helpful to anyone if you says physics says this or psychology says this. What is helpful is this. What do we learn from these so many years of efforts? So psychology is an effort to understand the social and human social life and human psyche. So if you have whosoever makes these posts, if you have ever read a genuine psychology book, you must have been impacted by it and you must have received some insights. And this is a suggestion now that try to think about it in this perspective that there was this effort that was done in the field of psychology, and we now get to know about this. Do not make a hard and fast rule after this that this has to happen because last day only I was reading this post on Instagram that how to have healthy relations. First point was this: give each other space. Okay? Where is this written that you have to give space? If two people doesn't want to give space in their relationship, that's
So
fine.
true.
Let them play games. Let them be cheesy. What is your problem? So the post was itself in fine, but when you label it like this, psychology says and psychology fact, you don't know, but because you don't know because whosoever are putting such post psychology facts, they are not from the field of psychology, and that's why they are not sensitive to its impacts. But the readers, as readers, we can be sensitive to it. That these are not psychology facts. When do we Nupur, talk about psychology facts? Hardly we talk about facts in psychology.
Right.
Psychology is all about subjective experiences. So, in and as a reader, let me tell you, psychology is about subjective experience. Psychology is about you. It's not about a fact. So when the next time you read these facts, psychology says and whatsoever, don't go by it as a fact. Just take it as an opinion and be flexible with it and do whatever the hell you want to do with it because the only growth, the only genuine exploration you can do about yourself and others is in a safe and sensitive therapeutic space. Just knowing two, three psychology facts is not going to help you, even if we want, even if we expect.
So true. This is again an insightful one. I truly agree on most of the points that you mentioned. Thank you for the insight again. Now,
Sure.
moving on, I want to know about the initiative that you started recently, which is the Saathi, for the career
Mhm.
guidance and helping out students. So, can you share more about it? What's the entire mission and how the students can be benefited from this?
Sure, Nupur. And I'm really grateful that you are bringing this because I have started this recently. I have been doing guidance and working with students for last 5, 6 years, but uh, I have now collected my experiences and I thought to myself, what we need to improve here because now I have seen so many students. So what needs to be improved here? And one problem that I have been able to identify, understand that the generation that we have or the generation that is coming up, the generation that we belong to, also, it's a fact in the sense that it has been researched upon a lot. That's why I'm saying it's a fact. It's a research-based conclusion that our generations do not want to work for the sake of work. They
True.
want to work to make a positive or a valuable impact on the field or the world or the society. So they don't want to work actually, they want to impact
Right.
with their strength, with their abilities, with their virtues, and so on. So now my question to myself was this: how can I help others, basically students, to find out where they are most impactful? And believe me that for the last couple of months, I have been helping students to cancel out their plans because they have so many misconceptions about their field in the market because they are studying it. Everything sounds great, interesting right now, but when they start to work and I confront the realities of the working environment and expectation, then they start to realize that this is not what I want to do. And they start asking to themselves, what do I want to do? Now, this is one question, and we have a lot of other questions also that we work with students about the future of work, not in the sense of how the work environment is going to change, but how the careers are shifting and how the understanding of career, jobs, work is shifting and how you can align yourself to these changes. So this is what Saathi means, and let me share uh, the genesis of Saathi.
Sure.
So I'm, as the name suggests, this comes from Mahabharata only, where uh, the Parth is Arjun and Parth Sarathi is Krishna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and if you visualize the Sarathi Arjun is just trying to help Arjun to get a clarification, to get a clarity of the situation because he was too emotional at that moment, and Sarathi is helping him to get a clarity of where. So
Wow, that's so insightful. Like, I mean, the entire idea of naming it, it sounds really nice.
So, as a student, also personally, I feel that I'm in that war zone where I'm getting emotional, scared, and I'm asking questions to myself. And I find students in that emotional turmoil most of the times confused. What do we need? What do we do? And now we have a lot of questions framed. We have a structure. Apart from helping students in the general way that these are the careers, these are the job options, these are the programs, certifications, degrees that you can take. That is the technical information. We have that for them. But we are also, we want to take a next step with them and we push them, just think about these things also because in the next 5 years, I can guarantee you are going to ask or you are going to struggle with these questions for yourself.
That's
So I'm very
again,
excited.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you're doing a fab job because most of us, like, if I take my example, we all are confused in one way or the other. Like, we are not like, although everyone is figuring out their career in some way or the other, but the structure, the formation, like what we exactly want to do is something we all are not clear with right now in this age. So definitely this is something which can be add value to all of us, like as students. So yeah, you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you, Nupur. I hope that we are able to help out a lot of students in the coming times.
Definitely. Now, coming to the next question, like I would like to know, like about the booming career choices, especially in the psychology field. Real choices, like when I was discussing about this topic, like most of the people they were sort of confused, like what exactly do we do after bachelor's or masters in current times, especially now. So, can you tell us about what exactly are the booming choices which one can choose after
Yeah,
completing bachelor's or masters in this times?
right. So, first thing that all the psychology students need to understand is because when we come into bachelor's, we only think of the master's level. कि masters करेंगे and then we are done.
Second, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And now psychology students from the bachelor's level itself, they need to start thinking and to chart their career plan. Uh, so what kind of so they are doing bachelor's, what kind of masters they want to do now because they have so many masters options. Then what are the diploma or certification options they are going to try? And the internship options, they should take care of that also. They should have in the mind what I'm going to intern into, because when I was in the masters, I luckily got into sports psychology because from the I had no idea. Let me be true, because I wasn't
Can you
sure.
brief us
I was
about the sports psychology because it sounds little new to me right now. I've never heard of
sure,
it.
sure. Let's take with that.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I shifted to my masters, and I was always interested in sports, and I wanted to do it, but because there was nothing around. Some people were doing it definitely for a long time, but because nothing was around in the sense, I had no idea that I could be able to do it. And I was just roaming around. My first year went. Even in bachelor's, I was interested in it, but there was no guidance or there was no suggestion from anyone there because they had no idea also. But in my master's, luckily, because in my mind, I was also always pursuing whosoever asked Vishal, what do you want to do? I don't know, but maybe if I get a chance in sports, I will do something around it. So I think talking to people around these things, one person helped me, and I started working with Sports Authority of India. The main office of Sports Authority of India, is in Patiala,
Okay. Wow.
and they have a lot of people from physiotherapists, psychologists, a lot of people are working there. Then they have one head office in Delhi in Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, that is their head office. But they have also psychology department in the IGI Stadium, and this both the departments of JLN Stadium and IGI Stadium also work with the Hanshin Stadium, and two other stadiums are also there in Delhi. I know for um, if I'm right, I think I am. Uh, I know that a couple of teams in Indian Super League in football also were consulting psychologists, as psychologists were working with their teams. And I think, as I have heard, as I have got to know that with also our national teams, including cricket also, psychologists are working continuously with them. So there is a lot of uh, scope. There might not be a number of opportunities like 1,000 or 2,000, but in the terms of growth, there's a lot of options there. And it's very easy for master's psychology students to go into this field. You just, in India, we don't demand a sports psychology degree because there is no degree as such.
Yeah.
So while doing masters, what students do is that they connect with the sports authority or the stadiums. There is a psychology department. I can take the names of the heads that are there. In IGS Stadium, we have Ms. Bhavna, and in JLN, I'm forgetting the name. She's the senior person. So you can go to the departments, request for the internships, and they take interns from the university, from MIT, from Christ, everywhere. Uh, so yeah, and I think people should go for that.
Okay, now coming to the internships part that you mentioned, like at a bachelor's level, if we see the internships which are provided in psychology, and when I've asked some of the students who are doing that, so why is it that the student has to pay for the internship, which most of the organizations are doing it, to teach something in the name of internship, which they are already taught in the colleges? So can you throw some light on this? Like, why are the students actually have to pay for that internships to pursue?
I'm very angry on that aspect, so my anger would naturally come out. Um, the thing is, it is a general tradition that on the name of internships, actually trainings are being given. Okay. Now, the money part doesn't matter to me because uh, and everyone can afford different kind of amounts, and whatever they can afford, they should. That's the money is not an issue here. But the thing is that what should happen in an internship, it's not happening. So the quality of the psychologists that are coming out, I'm telling you, this is a fact because I have been in the market. I'm daily, on the daily basis talking to psychologists or people or businessmen who are working in psychology. Psychology students coming out don't have skills. It's because of this fact because in internships we are training them. In
True.
internship, work should happen. A basic 30-40% amount of training should happen, but work also should be happening, and they're not getting any work. Now there are exceptions also. I know a few internships that are really good, that that actually allow students to observe or to work with clients, to observe in a sense. Uh, that is really good, but a lot of internships are really just trainings. They are educational, and a whole load of people are just theoretically teaching students.
True. Which are they already, learning from the college courses, right? So
Yeah,
that's sort of unfair, is what like
totally
many
unfair to the
students say.
profession and the field. You are
So
doing
true.
the wrong thing. Now, a group of clinical students, they are doing MA clinical psychology, and they asked me, to run an internship in this field. I said, okay, I can do that, but what do you expect from it? So they told me that, generally, what the teachers expect that you will be taught through in the internship the basics of clinicals, how we go from taking the MSc to taking the clients and the whole of it. Now the students are also expecting. We cannot blame the students because as students we cannot force you to provide us work. If we are getting an easy way out, we will take it. That is so natural to us. Though I believe that should push for better intentions, but if I'm getting an easy way out of just taking online classes as an internship, that is fine by me. So if that is happening in a clinical psychology internship, that you are actually teaching them abnormal psychology or clinical psychology, then I don't know what is happening. You can,
True.
if you even make it 50-50, 50 training and 50% work, then it's fine by me because I'm a kind of person who totally comes from the uh, work thing. Training is in itself okay, but if you have not worked, I don't think that you have learned anything.
So true. Could you tell us about like the options that you mentioned that could help the students watching right now, like for the approaching for the paid internships or any kind of internship which involves work instead of paying things? Can you like name some of them that could help them out to figure it out, like apply for those things?
So, see, I cannot name the companies or the organizations here. My general suggestion for the students would be this. See, understand that you are a student, you have to learn right now. So if you get work, paid, unpaid, doesn't matter. The money is not an important thing here. That is another matter to consider. Look at the kind of internship that you are getting, the work you are supposed to do. Are you getting only online lectures? If you are getting only that, then do not come back to the company, the organization, or your professors and blame on the market. Yes, it's a fault of the market, but you also should pursue, explore, and push the organizations that, okay, if you want to teach us, we are okay with that. Train us. but also let us work somewhere with the clients, with the reports, with the MSc, with any kind of thing. Let us work and do not take an easy way out because when you will go for interviews, the psychology field is getting hard and hard every day. I don't know if the students know this, but people are more concrete. People are more clear about what to expect from a psychologist. We cannot deceive them like before, right? So after 1 year, 2 year, if you go for interviews, and if you have not done good internships, you have not done rigorous work, then you will not be able to impress them. You will have to do rigorous work so that you can impress and get the job that you want. These, students come to me and say, we don't have any jobs or internships or anything. I know people who are running paid internship of 8,000 right now to psychology students. So saying that it's not happening is wrong, though it's happening at 1, 2, 3, 5 level, but still it is happening. So it's just that as students, we have not put that much effort. And for that, we cannot blame everyone.
Okay, yeah. That's again another side. Yeah, so true. Now,
Yeah.
another question that I got from one of my friends was like every psychologist that she or he has talked about how the career is, has told her or him that he doesn't pay well. It doesn't pay well, but it's satisfying. The other reason that the person wants to, go abroad and work in this field is due to the lack of income factor, which is in the field in India, especially. That makes the person really sad, and because she wants to do it in India itself. So, what you would like to throw some light on this income aspect of psychologist in India, and is there any myth associated with it, or if you want to like talk about this?
There is a myth that you will only earn 20 to 25K after doing masters in psychology. That is a wrong myth. Yes, people expect, because even if you start as a programmer, software engineer, there are people who work for that amount too. So let's just now say that software programming, just like psychology, is not a good job, not a good field. And I will show you MBAs not from IIMs, but MBAs from general college who are earning very less, around 25, 30. So
That's
let's
true.
now start saying that MBA is also bad. And now we will come to a point where every field is bad. Uh,
So true,
does
yeah.
abroad has does abroad has more options in psychology? Yes, definitely they have better research opportunities than India. No doubt about that. That is a reality. We know that. Um, India has more spiritual options than anywhere in the world. That is a reality that everyone in the world accepts. So we have to accept the reality that research options are better out in the world. Also, the pay is better because any country who's dealing in dollars, or what is the other currency? The
uh,
European currency,
yeah,
euros.
Euro.
Yeah. So whether if you go to a European or US country, or Australia, you are dealing in dollars and euros. So you are going to earn 50x at least. No doubt about that. This is the reality. Third thing that Nupur, you pointed out, that it is not as much rewarding as other monetarily, as not that rewarding as maybe medical line or MBA or anything. True, 90% true or 80% true. But uh, some fields are there that are not just about money. Okay. So there are doctors who are working 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs a month. But when they are earning that amount of money, they are earning after decades of experience and so much training and whatnot else. Now, if you want to earn, you spend so much time and efforts. I don't know, I just get a very general feeling from psychology students that you complete your masters and you earn a lakh a month. This is so unrealistic and so unjustified to other fields. No, that cannot happen.
Okay.
Um,
Lastly, yeah. Anything else you want to share on this topic?
Yes. Having said that, this is a myth that psychology doesn't pay well. I have known people who have earned a lakh. So professors have worked earning already a lakh, 2 lakh based on their qualifications and level of experience. In the corporates, also have seen people who are working lakh per month, 2 lakh per month. In the hospitals, senior psychologists are working 3 lakhs a month. Yes, and they're not clinical psychologists; they're no psychologists. You have to understand that in the corporate world, the amount of salary depends on the your qualification, but also on your levels of experience. If you have 10 degrees and I have 1 degree, but I have 10 years of experience and you have 1 year of experience, I'm going to earn 10x more than you. And this is one
True.
of the facts that psychology students completely miss while talking about salaries and money.
Okay.
So it's a myth, and let's break this myth that psychology doesn't pay well. It does. You have to find the opportunities. You have to build those opportunities also. Corporates are very, very smart about that. They can take the work for 50,000 also. But if you demand 1 lakh after 1 year, they will pay you 1 lakh also. So were not they able to pay you 1 lakh 1 year before? They were able to, but they just did not because you never asked. So you have to find the opportunities and create the opportunities as well. And let me mention this to every psychology student. Now, did somebody push you in this field? You all always knew how much rewarding is this field. And is money the only reason you are here? If you are in an MBA and if you are only there for money, I understand. But if you're only for money here, I'm not saying there is anything bad about money. Uh, there is nothing. I'm very much passionate about money. But if that is the only thing, then there is something for you to ask yourself why I'm here. Because you, as a person, as a psychology student, always knew how much rewarding is this field. किसी ने धोखे में नहीं रखा था मुझे.
True.
Yes.
So true. Like this questions should be like a sort of self-realization for them. Like they should ask themselves as well, like why exactly they've chosen psychology to pursue. Is it for money or the self-satisfaction or for the love for that particular subject? So definitely.
And while we are discussing this, let me put a number on it also so that whoever watches
Sure.
this video knows this, that I'm not just talking in the air or ethical things. I talk about very practical things. I have a project right now, and this project is to set up a mental health initiative, proper organization. And the terms are to me this: I don't care how much money you ask to me. You take any kind of money, I don't care. All right. That is the issue students have. No? So I'm
Yeah.
putting it this forward. I have been given clean slate. There's no worry about money. You take as much money as you want. It's just that I want the best work. I want something innovative, creative. I want something that works. I don't want uh, general things that we have been doing for so many years. Now, if I can provide that kind of work, I'm getting the money. So this is also one of the questions that we need to ask. That what we have been provided as therapy and uh, clinical psychology is a part of mental health and is a part of psychology. It's not the whole of the psychology. If you can work in marketing and advertisement and use psychology to give them concrete results, see, I have increased your business from 1x to 5x. They will give you as much as you want. I can assure you that. And Walmart, Swiggy, and big corporates have been using psychology consumer behavior for so many years. But uh, as a psychology student, do we ever think about it? We have to think as a student, if I want money, where is the money in psychology? Maybe it's not in certain parts of it, but there are very specific parts of psychology where you can have the money. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this. Like we have already come sort of to the end of the conversation. So this is my last question. Like, what would you like to tell the audience, especially those who are studying or pursuing psychology, and also a general point of view to all the students like watching this right now? What would be your last insights or message that you want to share to everyone?
Okay. So my I don't give suggestions, but I would give a practical knowledge, share this knowledge with you, all of you, which is currently happening in the market. This is the scope of psychology in the sense of its future is so much interesting, inspiring that I cannot tell you about it. The future is going to be amazing, but the future needs to be created by us. We have to come up with interesting things. I see so many PhDs being done, but is there something productive, innovative, interesting coming out of it? I don't think so. Maybe 10%, 20%, 30%. Where are all the other PhDs, works, dissertations going? We need to convert this theoretical orientation into practical orientation so that we can impact the society. When we impact the society, we give the money. So money will be a side thing, but you see, psychology will be at the forefront when we apply it to the society, and we need to do that more and more. And as psychology students, to be in touch with these changes, innovations that are happening recently, you have to talk to each other in the community. Psychology field is so tiny. If you give me a person in Kanyakumari right now, I will find some relation to that psychology student. This is how closely knit we are. This is how small community we have. So what do you need? You need to talk to each other. You need to network. I cannot put enough emphasis on that. Whether you are in bachelor's school or master's or PhD or side, I don't care. You need to network a lot. You need to see what is happening right now, and you need to work on that. Do you know that a person in Pune, a clinical psychologist in Pune, is working on Bhagavad Gita and scriptures and inculcating that with the psychotherapy? Do you know that? Do you know what kind of work is being done in psychometrics right now in India? Do you know the biggest company of psychometrics in India? No. If yes, then great. If no, then you need to ask yourself this question: what is happening in this field? If you know what is happening in this field, then only you can bring yourself to a level. You can train yourself in such a way that you can be of any value to the employer or to the society. Okay.
Everything you mentioned right now, it was so insightful, and thank you so much for sharing this wonderful conversation with me, because I, being a business student, I can relate like how psychology can also help in business a lot. Like as you mentioned, the consumer psychology, I'm a marketing student. Like I love reading books about marketing and sort of learning marketing insights. So I think that psychology does plays a very important role, and reading about psychology, it should be done like everyone should know about it. Like everyone should read it. It's very important. And yeah, I mean, it was wonderful talking with you right now. Everyone watching right now, you can reach out to him for any doubts or career guidance through his social media page and follow him for some insightful content. He does lives regularly. I have been following him. So yeah. And thank you so much for watching, everyone. Stay tuned for our upcoming episodes.